If your business is making a profit, everything else will fall into place. That is absolutely not true, and I'm going to talk you through why that is. Hello and welcome to Engage and Thrive, also known as EAT, your coffee catch-up with me, your host, Taelon, where we will go through common problems and hurdles that come up in business, marketing and advertising and try and demystify them. I know firsthand how complicated and confusing it can seem with all the different acronyms and all the things to do in business. So let me try and help you be better in business. First things first, let's start with grabbing a coffee. The reason why I'm really keen to myth bust this one is I actually want to smash it apart, because I think a lot of times when businesses are profitable, that's a lot of times where there are things that are covered up or behavior becomes excused because it doesn't matter, we're making profit. And what I mean by that is there can be so many places that have a toxic workplace, but it's almost like it's acceptable because the business is making profit. Or things might not be efficient, but it doesn't matter because you're making profit. Or decisions might be getting made really quickly and really like slipdash and not the best use of everyone's time, but it doesn't matter because the business is making profit. And today we're actually going to go through ways of thinking about profitability as a long-term situation, not just short-term, and I suppose how to avoid those internal situations or things that people may cover up, because there is more to it than just being profitable. As always, let's go through vocab. And the first one being revenue. So this is the total income. This is all the money coming into the business. Which then the next one would be profit. So how you would calculate profit essentially is revenue minus outgoings, so or expense on anything. Obviously, accountants will explain further there are different types of profit, but that's to give you the top level way of working out profit. So profit is your money left over after revenue minus expenses and outgoings. The next one is burn rate. So this is typically used in startup world, and it's when you think about how quick you're going through cash, so how quick you're burning through cash, how long do you have left to live through that cash that you've got from investment, and people talk about that because they then will know when you're going to be profitable. And I think more businesses should talk about this openly and use this as a metric, because every business has a burn rate of how quick they're going through money and how long they have left to live. And the final one is cash flow. So this is basically about understanding your money coming in and your money going out, which when your business is profitable, people probably look at their cash flow less or just think it's less things to worry about, the money coming in, the money going out, because they've got lots of money coming in, lots of money left over. Okay, so in other contexts, you may have heard about the 4 Ps of marketing, which is product, price, place, promotion. Today, we're actually going to go through the 3 Ps that drive a long-term profitability. So essentially, the 4 Ps of profitability, or the 3 Ps to make the 4th P. Number 1, people. As I obviously mentioned when I was myth busting, people is probably one of the first things that get forgotten about when a business is profitable. This is when so many places have a toxic environment because everyone's on this drive to make the business profitable. And what a lot of leaders forget is the people will make the business profitable if they're happy. Happy people make happy customers, make happy sales and happy situations. Great businesses are built on great people. And I don't just mean by hiring the right person to have the right skills. I mean a person genuinely loving what they do, being passionate about it, given trust, given autonomy to just get on with their job, not being micromanaged. So many things around it that make it great people be part of your business, not just following your rules and just abiding by everything you say. And investing in talent is something that, again, people may hold back on when the business becomes profitable because they just think, well, if we have to spend more money on more people or more senior people or more experienced people, then it's less profit for the business. But actually what you're forgetting is if you're then hiring in that great talent, so they're more skilled or they're more senior, they're likely to take your business to even the next level. The other thing to think about with people is your customers. So again, at the end of the day, your product or service, you're still selling to people. And again, when you become profitable, you don't want to just lose sight of that, who your target customer is, or their feedback, taking their feedback on board, or thinking about the customer experience. It's still people at the end of the day. So really the first takeaway is internal, your people in the business, and external, your people being your customers. Number 2, processes. So this is, I suppose, processes and productivity. This is something that I like, again, of course, because really by understanding the processes in your business, you can understand how you can scale, how you can improve things, how you could automate things. What else do you need to be improving to become more efficient? Like, what takes up a lot of time for people? Think about that, review that, and think, what do you need to change? Thinking about workflows, really that hog time and money, I suppose, are the first ones to really consider when you're looking and reviewing at your processes, because time is money and resources is money, right? Resources being your people. So you want to review those processes and think, how can we improve it? How can we become more efficient? What else do we need to add to that situation? What do we need to take away? What do we need to try differently? What could we automate? Because at the end of the day, you want to improve the processes to improve your outcomes. So whether it's delivering a better service, whether it's delivering a product faster, whether it's improving the customer experience, you want to improve your processes to help that whole situation and help your people, internal and external. The other thing to identify when you're thinking about processes is, where is there typically bottlenecks in a situation? So if it's obviously to do with production for an actual product, it may be how long it takes you to make a product. If it's a service, it may be downtime that you have, or it may be like turnaround of features that you want if you want to build into an app or an online system. But whatever it is, there will be bottlenecks somewhere that you can look at and think, okay, what do we need to improve? And also, by looking at processes, by the way, I don't just mean you have to automate and you have to do tools, but it's also looking at who's doing what job and are the right people in the right place for these processes. And the final one, number 3, is positioning. So this is really around everything to do with your business and your brand. So how are you positioned in the market? How are you positioned now? And what's your future-proofing positioning? What are you doing to monitor social listening, customer feedback, reviews of your product, reviews of your competitors? Who are your competitors? What's the rate of competitors entering your market? What's your unique selling point? How are you positioning your brand for people to understand what you deliver as your products and services? How are you evolving your products and services? How are you updating people about your evolution of products and services? What's your customer retention? What's your customer referrals like? If you don't have customer referrals, how could you start generating customer referrals? And again, it's looking at your customer experience. So what's it like for each stage of your journey? How is your brand positioned for each of those stages of the journey? You know, it could be that you're really good at getting sales and getting people in because you're really profitable, but actually when people have feedback or they need to do a return, it's a terrible experience, and that could be really brand damaging for you. You know, if someone swooped in and they improved their efficiencies about returns and you haven't improved your efficiencies, that could have a massive knock-on effect for you. So ensuring you have that brand consistency is really important for maintaining customer loyalty and brand recognition. You know, someone being able to know that no matter how they interact with you, they're going to get the same experience from your business. I'm not going to keep saying brand experience because it's not only about your brand, right? It's in terms of like the communication with them, the physical touch, the smell they might have if they entered a shop or a store, like whatever it is, it's thinking about your messaging you're trying to get across. And again, with your brand positioning too, you really need to be thinking about where you are now, where you want to be evolving, or where the market is evolving and how you're adapting with that market and how your positioning is adapting. Because something you may have as your unique selling point or your clear messaging today might be completely irrelevant in 3 to 5 years time. So actually your product or service may have evolved, but is your messaging evolved? Has your tone evolved? Has your branding colors evolved? Is how you communicate with your customers, has that evolved? So as a wrap up, profit is a result, not a strategy. And like I said, businesses may be profitable, but they may be struggling with other things. And as long as you're thinking about those 3 key takeaways that we're talking about, people, processes, and positioning, you're actually setting yourself up for long-term profitability. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Engage and Thrive with your host Taelon, and see you next week.